What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday, Thursday. This has been a wild one. I don't think this is like you should have a whole lot invested tonight. I'm playing a few lineups. It's going to be weird, and there's a lot of question marks. It's very strange to see the question marks on players in the last. Like, I know Anthony Davis is supposed to play tonight. I just have a really bad feeling. But anyway, we know who to play. The projections are telling us basically in a way that I agree who we should be playing. I don't think you need Jock Lawndale. I think that he's being a little over projected, at least on SaberSim. I don't think that you need necessarily like Josh Okogie, but you can play all these guys and play Giannis, Jokic, and Davis if you want to. Even if those guys don't have superhuman games, you'd imagine around 170 to 180 is where they score. If you factor in even, let's just say, the 3K guys you surround them with at 20 apiece, okay, so then you're only at 280, whatever. But there's upside for a lot of those guys. A lot of those guys are going to score more than 20 fantasy points. Some will not. The other thing is that Jokic, Giannis, and Davis, there's a world where they score basically 230 or something like ridiculous. Even then, you're just your other five guys at 20 at an average is not too bad. If you can get 25 out of your other guys, and some of those guys are going to be way above where they're projected, like Lonnie Walker could end up with like 40 fantasy points tonight. So if you just average 20, then you're in business. So there's a lot of that's one real interesting way to go. Hingo's asking a question that makes me wonder if he definitely doesn't subscribe to our site, because any value is got to be a joke or it's a really good joke. Come on, Hingo. Yeah, the value is endless. So I am less on Lawndale. So I'll just say who I'm higher and lower on. I'm less on Lawndale than maybe the field. I always like to play them, and he's 3K, but they have 9 players. The Lakers have 8. I don't know what else to say. Lonnie Walker, I'll be ahead of the field. Okogie probably ahead on Troy Brown. Maybe Okogie right with the field. I'm only playing a few lineups, like I said. So it's Damian Lee. I prefer, I think, Troy Brown to Damian Lee. It's really close between the two of them for me. I'm not playing Jalen. Jalen Suggs is starting tonight. What did I miss on Orlando that I guess I should probably have noticed? What did I miss? Is that just so much earlier? So they're starting him. Okay. So Suggs is in the mix. Suggs would be, I guess, my next guy in terms of who I like for the ultimate value. And then I don't mind shots on both Wenyen Gabriel and Ish Wainwright, siding a little bit with Gabriel unless Wainwright starting. So I got you now. You're joking around. I don't really know what to talk about. Like, the builds seem pretty clear. The value is, I don't want to say that all of the value is good, but there is so much of it. I don't know how we can't try to find the right pieces, and I just named my favorite ones in order. Drop in questions, drop in thoughts, because I really think there is just so much on this slate. And I just think side with the later games still, because there's still weirdness, but also there's not really later games, so it's really just the first game. With Jamal Murray out, I guess that's the other thing I didn't mention, is that in the mid-tier, the obvious plays are Dennis Schroeder and Bruce Brown. So that's the other thing to keep in mind. So that you have a really obvious build. Unfortunately, that's going to mean it's going to be chalky. And I'm trying to find ways to get off of it. I don't think that many people play play Davis, Giannis, and Jokic together, but there will be some. Maybe even leaving a little bit, like 400 on the table with that would be a little bit differentiating. It's really hard to totally differentiate. It's really hard. I happen to love Jokic tonight. If I have to side with one of him or Davis, I'm still siding with him, which feels wrong, but I don't know if it is. And obviously, if the Lakers get waxed, we know that of the 8 guys, the first one who's going to be out of there is Davis. But they're not going to lose at halftime. They're not going to pull the clip. Maybe they'll pull the Clippers and just keep him out the rest of the game. I don't know. Like I'm trying to find creative, other different plays, and I'm having a little bit of a hard time doing so. I also think like what I should touch on is the Phoenix in a really good spot. Like obvious. So I mentioned I like Okogie and Craig. Damian Lee would be next, and then Ish Wainwright for value. And then Londale. One of Londale or Wainwright, whoever's like Londale probably won't start, but if he starts, then I probably will play him. Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton are both in good spots and totally reasonably priced and everything, and are going to get some ownership. In Chris Paul's case, I'm not sure how much people end up on Ayton, especially with that other news. So that's their other center spot. Jokic, Davis, that automatically locks up 2 center spots if you go that route. So I guess that's the question: is how many people can get to Jokic, Davis, and LeBron? I'm sorry, Jokic, Davis, and Giannis. I don't know why I keep doing the LeBron thing. I don't know if it's going to differentiate enough. I'm really struggling with this. Phoenix revenge spot. I don't know what the revenge is for. What does Phoenix have revenge for? Lonnie Walker's. I'm not. Look, you guys know not to use the word lock with me. All this value is. Look, it would be suspect, but we just don't know what the roles are going to be. I am playing Lonnie Walker for what it's worth. I'm just going to answer like that. Well, the Lakers, they were probably going to make the playoffs anyway. It was I think they did a terrible job with everything, to be honest with you. And I blame it on LeBron, a lot of it. I have no interest. I don't think like there's any world where I'm playing Dinwiddie. I didn't even consider him. I don't even know. Like I'd rather play Cam Thomas than Dinwiddie by a long shot. I don't even know who's going to start. So let's see who Brooklyn even starts. Like they have they now have the deepest. They have what Utah used to be. Like they're now the deepest team in the league. They have 9 wings on their roster. I don't even know how that's possible. I still don't understand. Explain the Phoenix revenge spot. What is the revenge? I have no idea what Phoenix revenge means. Phoenix stack, yeah, that's what I prefer for what it's worth. I prefer the Lakers because they have 8 players and Phoenix has 9. However, there is a chance that the Lakers end up with a 9th player available at least. That's not a revenge narrative. I'm sorry, that just means nothing to me. I mean, they did smoke them. I remember the game now, but like, I don't know what the revenge. I don't know what that's like. We're just overlooking for narratives, but it's not you don't look. It's like taking all the most popular players and saying, okay, well, let's play them because of the narrative. We're playing them because there's 9 players in their team, and they're playing against a team that plays fast and poorly defensively. I can rank value if you guys want to ask me 1v1s, 2v2s, 5v5, whatever you want to ask. I'm happy to try and go for it, but I really know what I'm going to do. It's either going to be both Bruce Brown and Schroeder with Giannis and Jokic, and then the value, or I'm going to do Davis. I'll have to fade Brown and Schroeder. I might do Davis and LeBron. I'm sorry, Davis and Giannis and Jokic. And just take all the value and think some of it'll hit. There's just too few players for some of it not to really hit. You know what I mean? Like, even Suggs in the mix, but I mean, like Damian Lee 10Xing is totally possible. So is Troy Brown. So is Josh Okogie. So is Lonnie Walker. Lonnie Walker might like 15X. Like Londale certainly capable of it. So I'm not expecting all these guys to end up right at 20. The problem is getting the right ones. I do think Wenyen Gabriel is another interesting one that we didn't really talk about. I did like my Chris Paul trying to get Bruce, but I just don't know if I want to go the middling like ish route. I don't think it's going to be like that different. Chris Paul's going to be just as popular as some of these big spend ups. So I'm just struggling, man. This is like these slates. I thank God there are only 4 games today. First of all, I think that they should probably have no games today in general. Like it's just weird. Like just have a day off for the trade deadline so we can have all of our attention. I haven't even had a chance to go through all the trades yet. I've tried, I've been doing it, but I've missed some big stuff. not big. I haven't missed big stuff. I just haven't like caught all the way up yet. I can't tell you everybody's roster, which I could have yesterday. All right. Let's see what else we got. I'm just taking a look here. I do think Ish Wainwright is the better GPP play if people are going to play Lawndale at the percentage they're being projected. I like Lawndale better as a play. Like, I think he's got a much higher ceiling, but whichever one isn't starting, I think you can go ahead and play with lower ownership. That's one way to get a little different with value. I agree, Hingo. Should be an NBA holiday. I'm stressed. I actually don't even feel stressed. I'm not playing that big. It's just like, okay, I mean, like, your decisions tonight, what's going to cost you is whether you're playing Damian Lee or Troy Brown. But like, in all fairness, like what is Troy Brown's minutes projection tonight? Troy Brown is only projected for 32 minutes. I actually think there's a chance Troy Brown plays like 38 minutes. I also think there's a chance that like plays like 22. So it just feels weird, you know? But you can always swap them off for whoever's starting for the Lakers because they're all the same price, you know? So do you play Dave? So that's my decision is, do I play Davis? That's it. I have a perfect, let's just see if I want to do this. I just really like Schroeder and I really like Bruce Brown, but I think it's not enough for me not to just do it and think that some of these guys are going to get that really big game for me. I actually wish I could get to. I might be able to get to Torrey Craig with this build. Actually, that's what I might try to do here. Lonnie Walker, okay. Okogie, okay. Troy Brown, Walker Brown, okay. It's pretty easy to build. You guys can guess what I'm building right now. Pretty straightforward. Is Suggs good value at 3,200? He's 3,500, but he's value that I like a little bit less than the other value because all you're playing them is one man down. Now, normally I would love that, but like teams with 8 and 9 players always win the which one or the other because there's just such a bigger opportunity. But like if Suggs has an outlier game of 40 fantasy points tonight, I'm not going to be surprised. Yeah, someone's got to win. The problem is like, it's just a matter of like, you have such a narrow group of strategies that basically people are going to be doing the same thing. Like you're going to see a lot, whatever we come up with, you're going to see a lot of it. I promise you. Troy Brown is the weirdest one for me because I've seen him fail in these exact spots before. We've seen it over the years. However, he also can rebound and he will probably play garbage time because then you remove AD. You have to play Gabriel then, Reeves, Christie. They're not going to play Reeves minutes over Brown because he's just coming back. I mean, like if the game's a blowout. They're not going to play Christie. They'll play Christie over him possibly. And they won't play Schroeder then. Yeah, so he's probably pretty game. I just want to play the team with less guys. But like Suggs is a better player than all these guys are. Like, you know what I mean? So it's weird, but like I'm just going the other route. I'm playing 3 Lakers, 2 Phoenixes, and you know, good luck to me, basically. And I still may even end up throwing Suggs in with all the other value because I'm going minimum everywhere. Basically. How did I do it before? I'm trying to figure out because I built this lineup before with what could happen. I also want to like just say real quickly, I'm kind of pissed off about the way last night went. I got everything right. Like I nailed it. First of all, the first time Naz Reid not to go off when he's only 33% owned because no one had the swap ability. I had 5 players in that game, and it turned out to this crazy blow, including Edwards, by the way. Anything else, any other time that slate plays, it's almost 1,000,000 to 1 for me not to make a ton of money. Like I had any lineup had the right guys. They just turned into too big a blowout. And I had Embiid too much. And Embiid and Tatum combining for 80 fantasy points, that's a little frustrating too. All right. On a nationally televised game too, with Jaylen Brown in the second quarter. I don't even understand that one. Okay. Trying to see what else. What happens if Ish Smith starts instead of Bruce Brown? I guess we can play the what if game for a minute because we don't have the starting lineup, but we'll know before lock. What if Christian Braun starts? I still don't think I'm going to do it. Ish Smith and Christian Braun. I don't think I would do it. They still have enough other guys, but tell you what though, when Ish plays, man, he's gonna get you 25. Like when if he uses the start, like he's a fun guy to root for as a long shot play. But I think tonight maybe he's a little too thin. Watch, of course. I just put it out in the universe. Now Ish Smith's gonna score 500 points tonight. All right, let's see what else I can do. I'm actually surprised that Schroeder is not projecting better. I think that's probably a mistake. I have the perfect amount for Ish Smith. Oh, wait, can I do this instead? No. Wait, I can do that though. Can I play a Kogi and Craig? What if I did play Craig? Skip Brown. 3K minimum guard. Ugh. This is a weird slate, guys. This is not the most entertaining time. It's a 4-gamer, and it is the name of the game usually get different. This is trade deadline day, so it's a really weird one. And I guess we're all still speculating, so maybe making a late swap off of the Lakers who aren't starting is probably the best advice I can give to anybody. Because it's really hard to get this one right. Okay, Craig. Walker. AD and Wenyen and Gabriel together. Seems wrong. I don't know what the hell to do. Which Laker? How am I supposed to do this right? Damian Lee. Maybe the right thing is maybe I am going to throw in Suggs into a few. Because I just don't like the way the build goes the other direction if I go that way. I don't dislike it that much. I'm using my center spots up, which pisses me off because I really do like Lawndale, like as a play, but especially now that his ownership is dropping because of all this other news. It's still going to be owned, don't get me wrong, but like it won't be like crazy. So for the Lakers forwards needing exactly 3K, how can I not find it exactly? So Christie or Gabriel is what I'm going to come down to. I think I'd rather play Suggs. I'm not sure though. That doesn't make sense though. You want to play 3 Lakers. You want to play at least 2 from the Suns. I don't know what 2 Suns. Oh, 2 Suns. Yeah, that's fine with me, MJ. I actually like that build, MJ. The problem is I don't think it'll be unique, and you have to get it right in the game to stay close. But if you do, you're counting. You certainly aren't going to lose. Like if you get the right 5 Lakers, yeah, absolutely. I'm on board with it. Totally agree, MJ. That's right. The problem is you got to probably even try to get different, even within the realms of that being correct. And you look now. Wait, we do have Rui. It's weird that I didn't even like Rui's barely been on my radar today. I probably should reconsider that one. I just thought he'd be so popular. He is. I mean, I think Wenyen Gabriel and Max Christie are kind of interesting as a way to get different. I think I'm going to end up with 1 Suggs lineup because I can't quite find the one I like the other way. I think, yeah, I like the 2 Suns idea, and I don't think I think that I just like the Lakers' value. Maybe it's not the obvious value that's going to get there, but I think the overall value. Oh, yeah, I know, Forrest, right. I love what he's been doing, but they did just get a new group of actual players in. But I actually I'm totally on board for anyone who wants to play Cam Thomas. And he's not going to be unowned. People are going to play him. No one's that silly. I just personally am not doing it tonight because I'm going with my super weird build, which is going to be very odd. It's probably going to include like one of Christie or Gabriel when you really don't need it unless you're doing the build that I'm doing. Ugh. Okay, so let's do Lee. Ugh, my Lakers. I'm so frustrated by this. I don't want to play 3 Phoenix guys. I only want to play 2. I just want 2. Yeah, I think you can do that, Forrest, and I'm totally okay on it. I'm a little worried about AD in general, and I'm also worried about the Lakers in this game. But I still think I'm going to do it. It's just some of these values are going to way surpass. Now, the Suns guys, I don't think are the guys who fit that bill. I do think that the Lakers kind of have to with 8 players. It's almost impossible how it doesn't happen. So I would be trying to get at least 4, like at least 3 Lakers and probably 4 in if you can. So you could do that with a middling build if you want to, and just play 1 Sun. You certainly don't need to play the Suns, by the way. Like, I mean, they're all good plays, but if you're already going to play like Chris Paul, then you don't need to worry like as much about playing Damian Lee or a Kobe. But I would play more Torrey Craig with Chris Paul or something. I know you can't play Schroeder. I know, Forrest, you read my mind. It's frustrating to not play Schroeder. I also think there's a path where like Schroeder ends up with like 32 or 34, and I'm totally happy with it. Claxton ruled out. Okay. I actually don't know if that's even going to make a difference on this slate. So that if Day'Ron Sharpe starts, you got to kind of like Day'Ron Sharpe in this matchup. He can put up some fantasy points too. Well, there's something we could do. You could go completely reverse, and instead of the Davis Jokic build, you can then play potentially the Day'Ron Sharpe and Jock Landale build. But I don't care about Vucevic at 9K. It doesn't mean anything to me, and I don't think it doesn't work that way. Like talk to me if DeMar's out again. I'm not playing. I know one thing tonight. I'm not playing Vucevic on DraftKings. That's for sure. I don't even care what he scores. Like, it doesn't matter to me. He's not going to outscore all of Giannis, Jokic, and Davis. Hit the like, fam, as MJ says, my man. Thank you, buddy. Please do that. I'm trying to figure out how this build is going to go now, because I'm not as high on Davis even, and I like you play the Giannis, Jokic, but I do like, obviously I like if they stay in the game, he's going to have a huge game. How can he not? So if Davis scores, so even if they only end up with like 180 is what you're rooting against. If you want 200 plus if you're playing them, and then if you get your value right, you can win a tournament. It's just so frustrating. I shouldn't be this stressed about a freaking 4-gamer. Because you could play some. You play some Chris Paul with 1 or 2 Suns, and then you run it back on the other side with like John Collins or something. I think it's kind of interesting. No one's going to play John Collins anymore, who looked like a good player at the beginning of the day. Oh, man. I don't know what to do with this one. This is just one of those slates, I guess. So I'm going to do my thing, my weird thing. I want to see who's starting for Brooklyn before I decide anything. But as of right now, it's looking like 2 Suns, Giannis, Jokic, and the Lakers. Yeah, I'm not max entering. I like the thought process for us. I'm only playing a few lineups. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Actually, it's really sharp, but I just think that I'm only playing a few lineups, and I just need to find really one creative play that could differentiate if I get what I expect. You get Jokic with no Murray in a great matchup against Orlando. You get Giannis in an unbelievable matchup against the Lakers. Will it stay close? Will it matter? Anthony Davis, who's only good if it stays close. That's the part that feels like you're supposed to be fading it, right? But then again, it only stays close if he goes off. So it's just very, very tricky. So no Nick Claxton. And let's see what we've got as a projected starter here. But the problem with Suggs as the contrarian play is I don't think he ends up contrarian enough. I think he's going to still be like double digit. And I need a guy like, you can play like Wenyen Gabriel or Max Christie, who actually have the much more upside potential because of the nature of only having 8 players. Like literally, when somebody sprains an ankle for the Lakers, one of these guys is going to play a bazillion minutes. They're all going to play a bunch of minutes anyway. So Claxton out. Yeah, we got that one. Thanks, TJ. I think it's, because they probably start Simmons at the 5. Have him try to front and sort of play a sort of a trapping defense with all their wings. That's probably what they do. So I don't think Day'Ron Sharpe is in the mix again for me. I actually think Ben Simmons is kind of an interesting tournament play, but I'm not building quite that direction right now. Yeah, Suggs, that's 11%. I could see it being around there, unless Day'Ron Sharpe starts. Well, actually, that won't matter because we won't know in time. Because I do think people like any excuse they can to play Day'Ron Sharpe. I mean, I'm kind of interested in this Day'Ron Sharpe thing as that maybe he's my sneaky play, right? Cam Thomas is fine. He's going to have a little bit of ownership, not going to be crazy. Cam Thomas is completely fine, especially against Chicago. You got to think about this with Day'Ron Sharpe for a second, though. So, okay, here's what happens. Early on, 6-0 Bulls. They got 3 offensive rebounds, and Vooch put a couple back in. What do you think happens? You think they're going to stick with Simmons on Vooch? It's going to happen. It could happen quick. And Day'Ron Sharpe is the difference between him and all the other guys. Like Day'Ron Sharpe can get like 15 rebounds in this kind of matchup. I'm not going to do it, but you want to try and get creative with it. Like using a guy who no one's going to own. It's just something worth considering. And by the way, do the double weird lineup if you want to, and then you could do the middling build around it or a high end build around it. That's actually something that I'm considering right now. What if you did like Day'Ron Sharpe is not going to project for anything, so don't worry about that. The only thing I'm trying to think of is how to get different. It might be a little too different. Like he legitimately could not play. And they may just go small, but it's weird. It's a weird team to go small against between Vooch and Drummond. I don't know if that'll work. Yeah, but that's the thing is if you play Sharpe, you can play Sharpe and Lawndale, and no one in the world has that exact combination. But Lawndale, I do think, look, Day'Ron Sharpe is now projected as the highest scoring point per dollar play on the slate. How about that? How about Day'Ron Sharpe? See, now on Roto Grinders, they'll guess Simmons, and then there's other sites that are guessing, like NBA is guessing Day'Ron. Day'Ron Sharpe projected for 27 fantasy points at 3,400. How about that? Now he's going to be popular. See, just for all the reasons I talked through. But he has. But if he doesn't start, he won't be. So that actually goes back to your Suggs thing. DeRozan's in. Thank you, TJ. That actually goes back to now maybe Suggs gets overlooked. In fact, now maybe the Anthony Davis Jokic build is less common. Right? We're going to play people are going to play Lawndale and Sharpe, even both of them together some cases. Let's just say Anthony Davis and Jokic are probably going to be in like 20% of lineups together now. Okay, so you already got different. And then of those with LeBron, with Giannis, maybe that's the most it would be. Let's say it's like more like 15%. With Giannis as another person, I would say maybe a little less than half. So you need one differentiator if you're going to believe in that kind of build. Interesting. Or you could go with a more contrarian, and you could leave a little bit of money on the table if you go contrarian today. I think it's actually a really good idea for anyone considering it. Yeah, and that's what you get with Suggs. I kind of am coming on to this Suggs thing a little bit. He can be frustrating. really going to be that low owned. And then you play Troy Brown. No, you don't need Troy Brown necessarily. So just 3 Lakers I'm playing. I think that's actually probably okay. But I'm not fading Jokic personally. Did you guys see the game? If Jokic wanted to the other night against Minnesota, he could have had 150 fantasy points. He literally, like, they were missing shots and he still had 16 assists in 28 minutes. And really, like, they weren't even aggressive toward the end of it. They were just holding the ball because there's nothing to play for. Jokic is going to get, I think Jokic is going to get 65 minimum tonight. And I think that Giannis is going to get 60 at minimum. And I think Davis has a much wider range of outcomes. Yeah, I hear you, Forrest. And that's what I think I've come up with as well. I think we're on the same page here. I'm literally like a couple hundred from getting the exact build that I want, but I have an idea. Freaking Sharp, Londale Sharp right now. I'll tell you what, if they run Sharp starts though, I might just blow up this build because that dude is a baller. Not a baller. He's a guy who can put up a huge number in this matchup. I don't know why I said that. I got distracted by something else. All right, guys, pop in any more questions. I'm going to get out of here and finish my build, even though it's basically done for me here. I just got to make one decision or two. Anyway, good luck to everyone tonight. I hope you guys crush it, and let's make some money. Don't be afraid to leave money on the table if you need to, with whatever kind of build you're doing.